Welcome to the Shrewdness. We are so excited about this baseball-focused endeavor. As teased in prior episodes, we are doing 15 to 20-minute primers for each MLB team to prepare you for this 2025 season, to help you with your fantasy baseball drafts and future bets, or simply to improve your knowledge as the season begins. From the projected starters to the prospects, we will touch it all and give our shrewd takes on the key to their success. So sit back, take some notes, and enjoy the show.
Hello, Shrewdness fans. Welcome to another baseball primer for the 2025 season. You may notice we have an extra window tonight. Dex, please introduce our guest and our team.
Man, so this one I've been looking forward to for a while. I prepped this team a hot minute ago. So our beloved Minnesota Twins. So I have brought on to help me discuss this team, get the local pulse, get some heartbreak going in there.
That's right.
Reed Charpentier, baby. He's joining the show. So he's a buddy from college. We've been staying in touch for a very, very long time, obviously, because we're like 30 now.
Welcome,
like at least 9 years.
Hey, welcome to the show.
And I will say, of all of the ugly twin stuff, I do like the jacket that you have on. Of all the Twins colors and unis, that's the best by far.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for sure.
I agree.
So for those out there who cannot see the wall, if you're just listening on your workout or on your drive to work, because you don't want to be watching the video when you're driving to work, that wouldn't be good.
No.
Rito is sitting in just a beautiful backdrop. He's got the 87 World Series back there. And at this moment, he is sitting in the chair that he sat in for that 1987 World Series
91.
91. Let me get the right
91.
year at least.
Yeah.
But
91.
still, it's unbelievable, though.
I vividly remember that series because that was the one that nobody won on the road, correct?
Yeah, and that last game is when Morris he talked himself into being able to go a 10th inning.
That's right.
Against Smoltz. So yeah, that was
back in the days when pitchers were men and they went 10 innings.
So it's funny. I ran into him like in 1998. I actually kind of hung out with him a few times at a bar.
No way.
Right by where I was working, and ended up going back to his after bar at his place a few times. But got to talk about the only reason I got to go to that game is my dad had season tickets for his law firm, and he gave up going to the 7th game of the World Series so that his two boys could go to the game. And think about it, no cell phone.
Wow.
I was the oldest. I was 15 years old.
No way.
My brother was 9, and we're in Minneapolis on our own. And my dad just meet me at this intersection after the game. And
that's phenomenal.
Don't get into the candy trucks.
See, this was the 90s when we had free-range kids, and you just, figured it out. I totally
fellow
love it.
Gen Xers, take note.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you met
This is a real Gen Xer.
You met Blackjack, or as he was also affectionately known, Mount Morris, I think. Wasn't that one of his nicknames, Mount Morris?
That was probably a Detroit thing, but not really a Minnesota. I mean, he's from St. Paul, so he's a hometown kid.
Yeah.
Like Blackjack McDowell.
Blackjack
McDowell was
White Sox guy.
But
Oh, that's right. Mount Morris, though, I thought I remember being because he was he had a little bit of a temper with reporters.
Yeah, he did.
If I remember. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, that didn't go away.
A little bit.
I think another interesting part about the 91 series, that was the worst of first series. So the Braves were last of first, Twins last of first. And they both ended up teeing it off into 7 games. So
that's right.
That was a cool World Series.
Kent Herbeck, Tom Brunansky, if I remember correctly, right?
That's it. You're hitting all the good ones. I remember
Chisholm
wasn't it
pulled
Tim
up
Laudner?
the baseball reference, and there was a Blackjack that he was actually referred to as Blackjack.
I thought he
correct,
was.
Chisholm.
Look at Chisholm pulling a deep cut.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
From 30 plus years ago. Man.
I thought he was. Unfortunately, I remember more about 30 plus years ago than I do today.
That's true.
I don't remember last week. Screw that. All right, well, let's get started. So with this year's 2025 Twins preview, and for a quick recap of last year. So there's a tale of two stories for last year. So the Twins finished 82 and 80. It's like, oh, they must have just played 500 the whole time. Well, you would be absolutely wrong because they were like 10 games up with the last wild card spot. I think they were actually leading the division in mid-August, but neither here nor there.
17 games over.
Yeah, and so they absolutely imploded and collapsed. And the last 39 games, they went 12 and 27. Actually,
Yikes.
only the third worst record in baseball because I'm sure we had the Rockies and the White Sox to make sure that they were not the worst. But they tumbled out of playoff contention. There were tears all through my Facebook streams of what the hell happened. Rito, having lived through that in the city, what was going on with Twins fans in, I don't know, late August and early September? Was there hope? Was it like, no way we're going to blow this, or what happened?
So, honestly, towards the end, it was just everyone was apathetic. They didn't care. And here's the biggest problem that you skipped over is the season before that.
Oh, I know.
We hadn't won a playoff game for 20 years.
Yes.
And this is how pathetic we are. We win one playoff game, and I can tell you that I had tears. One game.
Oh, I believe
one game.
It is.
And like being at that game, the energy in there was just amazing. You've got all this momentum. Even you win one series, you get smoked, whatever, but you've got all this momentum. And then you go and don't do anything with it.
Yeah, it was absolutely a letdown because you're absolutely right. So going in last year, so Fangraphs had them for 86 wins, Pacoda 88. And that's where they should have been pretty darn close to finishing had you not collapsed. And so they finished 80 and 82, missed the playoffs.
The story of every Dexter bet, by the way. That's where they should have finished.
Well, we're going to gambling. How many bets did I have winning until 59 minutes and 52 seconds? I was like, wow, it took that play to make this bet miss?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So, is what it is. That was my luck in
That makes
football
it
last
so
year.
believable. It makes it incredibly believable.
It really does. But hey, it is what it
waiting
is.
for that collapse.
I gotta
right.
say, before you dive in though, Dex, can we give a shout out to Reed's backdrop here? This is an impressive collection that the man has of Twins. This is a real fan. So the Twins fans listening to this, you're getting analysis from two real fans, but one that has like
More backdrop in a house that doesn't switch every 2 years.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is what Dexter's backdrop would look like if he were not in the Army.
In the military.
If I was not moving around every single friggin' couple of years. Yeah.
Right.
So I used to have a little thing like that, and I said, screw putting this up every single time because it's too much work to pack it up again.
Yeah.
So is what it is. So this year, there is a drop in the Fangraph. So Fangraph went from 86 to 83. Pacoda went from, I guess it only dropped a little bit, 88 to 87. So it's right there.
Yeah.
The over-under, though, dropped from 86.5 last year to 83.5. So they took away 3 games. And we have much the same team. And as we jested earlier before the show, Reed and I are like, well, at least they got Ty France, which is true. We'll go into all the additions and subtractions.
You got Ty France.
So the offseason was kind of weird.
I would
And
rather beat France. I mean, thank you.
They've got it. The Twins this year, the good thing is hitting leadoff, they've got Rocco Baldelli, who's a hell of a leadoff hitter. No, never mind.
Yeah.
He's managing. I'm sorry.
Rocco. So a big issue is going on with the Twins this offseason, which kind of caused some. I mean, for GM didn't really have as much to do. And Rito, can you talk about the ownership situation with the Twins this offseason?
Yeah, it's typical Minnesota. So everyone here is like, thank God the poll ads are out. They're leaving. They're awful owners. They're worth so much money. I think they're top 10 as far as wealth in the major leagues, but they act like they are.
We're a small market
like
team.
Blue collar family and whatever. It's all a joke.
Right.
And so they finally decide to sell the team. We got this younger guy coming in. He's one of the minority owners of the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
All kinds of cool things going on with them, like making games available for free to fans and all that stuff. Like really good stuff. Investing in the team. This guy, Justin Ispia, is going to come in, save the day. We even had rumors that we were going to trade for Dylan Cease. And that was when I started to say, holy crap.
This could be
I guess
legit.
we actually do have a new owner because no way in hell that's happening with the Pohlads. And then Mr. Reinsdorf comes in, and nobody else can have anything nice around him. And so he makes up this like fairy tale deal where Ishbia is going to be able to buy him out someday. And the dude like goes for it. And so he gives up his chance to get a major league team, which happens how often? It doesn't happen. Our teams don't go for sale. And yet he walks away from the table to like because of some promise that Jerry Reinsdorf, of all people, made to him. Because he's a Chicago guy. So now we're back to square one. I mean, I think that there's still, because it's a baseball team, it doesn't happen often. Someone will come in. The problem is if it's not the right number, the Pohlads will say, no, we're going to go back. We're going to take it off the market. And then we're all going to go nuts. And what's really going to happen is people will be upset at first, and then they won't care. That's the worst thing that could happen.
Worst possible issue is apathy.
Very similar to the Dallas Mavericks that we talked about on a previous show when they traded away Luka. You just abandon your fan base. Right? Rip their heart out before the season even started.
The Wills were just ranked number 2 in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Miami got number 1, didn't they?
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. Hey. Take wins where you can get them, even though that doesn't matter. It doesn't get us any wins, but whatever.
Yeah, you'll take it.
We'll take it.
All right, so let's go into this year's Twins. Here's what we got for the starting lineup. I think it's going to be pretty good, so I'll run through it, and then we'll go kind of player by player. So Edward Julian may or may not be our starting second baseman. We'll talk about that. Carlos Correa, our overpriced, kind of pseudo-broken shortstop who could be really good at times. We got Trevor Larnach, left field. Byron Buxton. He's going to be potentially playing his 100 games in center field.
He'll be great for 55 games.
Hey, I already beat you. You just halved my number because I already halved you. Then Royce Lewis, if he cannot pull a hammy after a triple, that'd be helpful. Jose Miranda, 12 straight hits, I think. And then, he had a lot of not hits. Matt Wallner, not too bad, right field. Ty France, big free agent acquisition in the offseason, signed to a minor league deal, I believe. And then Ryan Jeffers, our catcher. So that is the lineup. And so I want to start with Edward Julian, second base. He's going to be competing with Brooks Lee, who's one of our kind of top young players, 24-year-old. He's number 8 pick in the 2022 draft.
Okay.
Those guys are going to be butting heads for the second base job this year. But Edward Julian, he's 25, so it's not like he's an old man by any means, but he fell off a cliff. So in 2023, in our nice, beautiful, we won a playoff series finally year, he was good. Last year, he got sent to the minors. His defense was atrocious, -6 defensive runs saved at second. Not hopeful for a pitch-to-contact type pitching staff, which the Twins always seem to have. But he needs to have a big rebound this year. And he needs to probably show it in the spring before he loses his job. But he slashed 199, 292 with a 323 slug in 94 games last year. And his walks dropped. He just stopped being patient. He couldn't hit a home run.
Slug was his average. But no.
He wouldn't even have been up to Bobby Wood, I don't believe. So even a slugging. So Edward Julian, you got any notes on him, Rito? What's the pulse of the city on Edward?
I mean, I think that he's going to be the starting second baseman to start the year. I think they're going to send Brooks Lee back to AAA.
Yeah, he's still got some options.
And Julian tried to, because he was so patient the year before, and people were getting kind of frustrated with, he would let some pretty juicy pitches go through, even though he had a great year.
Yep.
And he tried to like mess with his approach. I read an article on him, and essentially that he feels that jacked up his whole swing. And so he's gone back to fundamentals over the off season. Obviously it's spring training, so he feels great.
He's in the best shape of his life.
Yeah. Feels great going into spring training. But I think he has a higher ceiling than Brooks Lee for sure. But I also think he has a lower floor. So I think that they'll go with him at first pretty much no matter what happens in the spring, unless he is just god-awful.
Yeah.
I think that he'll be the second baseman, and I think they'll put Brooks Lee down the minors. One thing about that lineup, though, Castro would be in there, not Miranda.
He's going to be in there a lot, and this is just kind of the Fangraphs projected lineup, and Willie Castro is going to play 130, 40 games. I mean, he's going to fill in for somebody every single day.
Well, he basically plays everywhere, right?
He's a starter that plays no position.
It's 100 more games than Byron Buxton.
Well, he'll probably fill in for him by mid-April. Correct.
Between Buxton and Lewis, he'll find a spot.
Don't forget Correa, man.
We got Harrison Bader to back up Buxton, so Bader will get 100. Bader will get 100 games for sure.
That's right. The other big, humongous free agent signing, and ironically, I was jesting about that, but he's $6 million, and apparently that's the most they've spent on a free agent in 3 seasons.
No way.
That is horribly embarrassing. Oh my God. So speaking of Pohlads, right? Again, the ownership. This is why Minnesota wants these guys out of there.
I didn't realize it was that bad. That's horrible.
This is the same franchise that once had the highest paid player in the major leagues.
Yeah, Kirby Puckett.
Yeah.
$1 million, baby. First one.
No way. I didn't realize that.
$3 million.
Was it $3 million? Was it $1 million a year, right? Or is it?
I think it was $3 million a year. I could be wrong. Look,
the Royals had the highest payroll in the majors like 2 years before that.
Did they really?
Yes.
Huh. Well, there we go. Back when Kansas City was a big market team with Minnesota.
Different times, right?
Those poor actually, the Yankees did suck those years.
They did suck.
All right, so let's go to Carlos Correa. So our shortstop, who's Gold Glove, former Platinum Glove back in 2021.
Dang.
He's only 30, so he's not like a 38-year-old that's on his last leg. But he seems like he's playing on his last leg every single year. So he played elite last year. First half, which is one reason the Twins were so freaking good, is he was 308 and 896 OPS playing Platinum Glove shortstop. And then he kind of got hurt and had to plantar fasciitis, started missing games. And then just
year in a row.
Yeah. It's like every year in a row. I mean, there's no way you're seeing 150 for Correa. It's just not happening.
Oh, but wait. He has been walking around his house in bare feet this year. So
Mac Hollins to the rescue.
That's gonna fix his plantar fasciitis. That's what he's saying. That's the line.
I'll go with it.
It always does.
Yeah,
because Albert Pujols never had a fix for it.
Right.
That dude always had it. All right, so Carlos Correa, awesome. He could be great. We'll see. He just needs to be on the field. Trevor Larnach he's surprisingly pretty good. So he's does the strong side of a platoon. He may get every day at bats this year. We'll see how he does. He's 27. He excelled last year kind of in a platoon role, 259, 15 homers, 52 RBIs, only 355 at bats. So it's just kind of one of those deals. And I got a Chisholm note on this one too.
What? Is this for real?
Yeah. So if you recall the Oregon State Arkansas College World Series from 2019,
freaking brutal,
18?
bro.
Is that right? The year 2018.
Yeah.
So there was that foul ball that nobody caught. First base, right field, and second base sprinted over, and it dropped for the third out that Arkansas would have won the World Series.
Cost my cousin a World Series title.
So Chisholm's cousin at the time was pitching for the Arkansas Razorbacks in the College World Series. That was it. Game's over. World Series over. Yeah. And then
Larnach hit that ball?
Nope, he didn't hit that ball. But the next inning, he hit the walk-off 2-run dinger that ended the whole thing.
Off my cousin.
Even better.
Still off your cousin. So that part's accurate, but it wasn't that inning, though.
Right.
So Trevor Larnach. So Chisholm hates that guy.
I hate that guy.
But so Rito from Pulse to the City, Trevor Larnach. What does everybody think about our platoon left fielder? Or is there even a buzz about Trevor Larnach?
No, I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of buzz about any of these guys. But
oh, man. It hurts, but it's true.
Yeah, Larnach, so he started slow. And I'm not looking at stats, but in my head watching the games, started slow, caught his stride maybe third of the way into the season. Obviously, none of them were good in September.
They all quit.
He was good. He was an at-bat that you could count on at least being a quality at-bat.
Yeah.
He's got a good approach, and when he does swing, he makes good contact. He drives the ball. So I'm encouraged by him. He's, I don't know, maybe second as far as the guys I'm most excited about really improving for this year.
Yep, and I think he's going to get the everyday at-bats, too, until he shows that he can't. So he plays pretty good D out there as well. I like Trevor Larnach. I think he's pretty solid. For fantasy purposes, if he's in a draft, he would definitely be a solid 4th or 5th outfielder in a 12-team league. So consider that as well. Next up is the one that we all love, and every single year he's a potential MVP candidate, and then every single year he plays about 98 games. So Byron Buxton, first overall pick back in the day. And do you know who the second pick? Oh, no, wait, it was the other way around. So Carlos Correa was the first pick, I think, right?
Ooh.
And Byron Buxton was the second? I either have it's one way or the other. I can't remember. But they were back-to-back in the draft back in the day. All right, so Byron Buxton topped 100 games for just the second time in his career. And, again, annual freaking forecast. If Byron Buxton stays healthy, the Twins are going to do great things. He can win the MVP. Okay, I just want to see it. Now he's 31. I've been hearing this story since 24.
That's like saying if I picked all the right numbers, I'd win the lottery.
That's right.
Yep.
Has Byron Buxton? When's the last time he played a full season? Honestly,
I don't think he ever has.
Never.
That's my whole point. That's why this is always the annual narrative.
The Royals if he plays them. Like, I don't like to see Byron Buxton play the Royals because he's amazing when
he's
he
good.
But he usually doesn't, so that's nice.
So I'm looking here. The most games he has ever played in a season, 140 in 2017.
Huh. That's surprising it was that high.
And there's only been one other season he's topped 100.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That is astonishing.
He debuted in 2015. So
yes,
this is
decade.
I mean, this
10
is
years.
This is a big sample size.
10 years. This. I'll rattle these off. Number of games in the 10 years: 46, 92, 140, 28, 87, 39, 61, 92, 85, 102. So last year was actually a banner year for him, hitting the 102 mark.
I mean, he's going to have a statue out there if he does that again.
Right?
Here's the thing. Last year, going into so 2 off seasons ago, that was their thing. They were like, we got to get Buxton to 100 games. You know how pathetic that is?
It's really not
your
good.
Plan is, what can we do to get this world-class athlete to play 100 games?
Yeah.
2/3 of the season. Good for you.
Let's put him at DH for half that just in case.
For perspective, if his 162 game average. So if he played a full season, he would average 28 home runs and 20 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Nice.
In a season.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's actually got.
That's a big hit.
Yeah.
That's right.
The thing is, he's got so much power. I mean, he could, if he just does 100, if he does 140 accidentally, I mean, he could knock out 35 homers easy.
Yeah.
And he's not going to steal much. That's what's always been funny about him is he never actually steals that much. He's the fastest guy in the league almost.
Well, when you don't play, you don't
think
steal
he'd have.
that much.
Well, I know, but they always tell him not to.
Yeah, he used to run fairly often. Now, granted, when you're playing 28 games,
right?
That's not a lot. So maybe it just seemed like it when he was out there. But
you know who else doesn't steal much? Me.
Yeah. He played more games though. Yeah. All right, so let's go next up. So the next, if he stays healthy, he could win an MVP candidate on the Twins. I'm dead serious. These are narratives every year. And we saw what happened in 2023. That's the whole thing because we know it's there. Royce Lewis was the top #1 prospect in all of baseball for, I think, 3 straight years. And then he tore his ACL, and then I think he tore his ACL, and then I think he tore his shoulder.
Twice.
The dude was just cursed, but he's only 25, man. That's the thing.
One of the times he tore his ACL, you can't make it up. Slipping on ice in Texas.
That sounds right.
That's how he tore his ACL the second time.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I mean, that is unexpected. That would be unexpected. I would not be looking for ice in Texas either. So maybe I'll give him a little bit of that. But Royce Lewis is absolutely freaking amazing when healthy and he's on. I mean, last year's opening game, hit it. I think his first at bat was a homer. And then he got a triple, and he pulled his quad, which is exactly how the Twins go.
Against the Royals, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, against the Royals.
And then he was out for like a month. And then he came back, and then he pulled something else. It's just...
I mean, the good news about Royce is if you total up the number of games he's played in the 3 seasons, he almost has a full season. So 152 games in 3 seasons. So he's almost reached the season mark.
Read off the stats. Did you have them right in front of you?
Yeah.
Like read off that line for 159 games.
If he played 162 games, right?
Yep.
He would have 35 home runs. Wow. 35 home runs, 111 RBIs.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. So you go back to back, right? If Byron Buxton can play some games, if Royce Lewis can play games.
825 OPS.
Yeah.
And that's with him going into, so his big thing, he was kind of naive, but he said, like, I don't know slumps. Like, I don't do slumps is what he would say. The whole, like, the last third of the season, I think he batted like 100.
Oh, it's horrible.
He was awful. So you think about those numbers and how awful he was for at least 50 games.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's a stud. I mean, if he shows what he did for the first, 100 games of his career?
Yeah, right.
He's a stud.
And those were just stupid. So that's the potential he's got. So our top 5 is really good. Jose Miranda, I don't know if he's going to be – I don't believe he's going to be every day. He's a pretty decent hitter. I don't know about his glove too much. But he got called up last year. Again, he made the claim to fame because he had his 12 at-bats or 12 hits in a row. I think he had a walk in there too. But
I was at that game.
And I remember you were at that game. I think I talked to you that day. Yep. And it was kind of crazy. So he ended up – he's a good contact hitter, right? So – he slumped down the stretch, though. I mean, theme of the season, 202 in the last 30 games. He's going to play DH, first base, third base. But the dude, he's a defensive liability. I mean, whenever your name's DH next to it, you're not going to get on the field that much. So I think the pitchers are very happy with that, too.
I feel like somebody needs to read this guy's rights, you know?
Oh, man. God, Pruitt is off his game. Why don't you do the drum roll? Why don't you do the drum roll instead?
Yeah.
All right. So next up, Matt Wallner. So he, from a fantasy starter, he was actually not that bad last year. So he's a left-handed outfielder, borderline starter, platoon right fielder. But Max Kepler is gone now, so it should just be his job.
Where did Kepler go?
We already had this episode. Come on now.
I don't remember.
Philly.
I've slept since then. Oh, that's right.
That's right. Filthy.
Okay.
Like $12 million for a platoon lefty who hit 132 or something last year.
He's had one season, one good season.
That's it. It paid off.
That's all you need.
When Reggie Jackson told him how to hit a homer and he went upper deck for the Yankees game, he felt great. So anyway, we're not talking about Max Kepler. So Matt Wallner is going to be pretty decent, I think. He struggled a little bit and got demoted in 2024, but he got called back up and actually did pretty well. So he finished strong. So after July 7th, 282, 12 homers, and a 945 OPS. So that's nothing to sneeze at all. And the whole reason that he struggled at the beginning, got sent down, he started 2 for 25 with 17 Ks. He's like, woo! So him and Jackson Holiday were like having a fist bump together. Hey, I don't think you can have more Ks than I do in my first 30 at-bats.
Hold my beer, sir.
Exactly. So hold my shells. And that's what we got. So Matt Wallner, right field. Which brings us to number 8.
No. Hold on.
You got something for it? Let's go.
So Wallner is the one that I'm most excited about this year.
I like it. Give it some.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so he was a mess. The first part of the year. He didn't just get sent down for a stint. He got sent down for the first half of the season.
Yeah, like 2 months.
And he was just his confidence was gone. He really came off of 2023 strong. They were talking about all the StatCast numbers, his exit velo and all that were just amazing. And so we had big hopes, and he was just disgusting the first at the beginning of the season. And they sent him down to St. Paul, and he sucked there too. It took a good amount of time for him to just get beaten down, and then he started getting built up. And when he came back to the team, he was a different guy. Mm-hmm. He had his confidence. When he hits the ball, it's different.
Yeah,
it sounds different. It looks different. It's different. That's the guy that if you want a sleeper, if you want a guy that could just blow up, that's the guy. That's the guy that could blow up.
Keep your eye on Matt Wallner, everybody.
That's a shrewd take right there. That's a deep shrewd take.
That's right.
You can't get this anywhere else.
Everywhere, right?
ESPN, no thank you.
They're not going to talk about Matt Wallner.
Nope, but they will probably talk about Ty France and what he'll bring to the table.
Absolutely.
So having just been in Washington for the last couple years, Ty France was all the rage. 30-year-old free agent first baseman. He was an all-star 2 years ago. He actually was pretty darn good. So 2022 season, 276, 340 slash, and a 437 slug. So his line, 20 homers, 84 RBIs, 65 runs scored.
It's nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing to sneeze at. I mean, he held his own there at first base, and then he just collapsed with the rest of the Mariners' offense last year. You want to talk about bad offenses. The Twins made Seattle look phenomenal. World beaters. That was a bad offense. So Ty France, I assume he's going to play every day, and that's why they went out and got him. But it's not like they put a lot of investment into him either.
Who else would play first if he
Miranda.
is Miranda?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you don't have to do much. We were talking about this in a previous episode. Like, what do you really have to do at first base? Just catch the ball.
Left,
Move two steps to the left, 2 steps to the right. Put a foot in the middle, and here we go. Do a twirly. And then help each other out. So catch Royce Lewis's balls getting thrown at you and Carlos Correa. So that's kind of the starting nine with Ryan Jeffers at catcher. And frankly, he had 21 home runs last year for a catcher.
I didn't realize he had that many home runs.
It did, but it came along with a 226 batting average, which I don't know. I mean, it is a catcher.
He started like super hot. His OPS was, and he had the best OPS for a catcher in the first half. Like, I don't know if it was the whole first half, but
I think it was all the way up to the All-Star game.
Yeah, he started really strong, and then he lost it. We were playing him every day. If he wasn't playing catcher, he was the DH, and so I just don't think that's realistic for him.
Yeah.
And so you get some of that. You give him a little bit of break in the first half, I think he could be strong in the second. And honestly, a lot of the second half, not the second half, the last 45 days, the talk has been that we have a lot of young guys that just they couldn't keep their stamina up. Right. And they just kind of they hit the wall. And so this year they've had kind of a lot of group conditioning and working as a team, and just it's been a little bit of a different approach to their conditioning this year.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if that works. I don't know. That and the hitting approach are the two things that everyone's talking about as a big changes this year.
So we did talk in our Baltimore episode, I think was what we talked about, a late fade like that. If you got a bunch of young guys that aren't used to those long seasons, I think it takes a mental toll on you as much as a physical toll.
Totally.
And, it happens a lot. I think those young guys fade out in August, September, and October.
All right, so the other people are going to be playing quite a bit. We hit on him already. Willie Castro, 27-year-old ultimate utility player. He played more than 25 games at 5 different positions. He's a switch hitter. He gets on base. He can steal a base. He can run into a home run. You could do definitely worse. And for fantasy, this guy is a perfect util guy. He'll play wherever the hell you want him to be. He'll be eligible everywhere. So I don't think he did any catching, but other than that, he played it.
He's a Jose Akindo of sorts.
Kind of, yeah.
From back in the day.
Except Jose pitched and catched.
That's true.
So he's almost Jose.
I'm in a fantasy baseball league that is 80 players deep and 16 teams. And, and I actually traded for Castro because, and especially in a league like that, if you have a guy that can play pretty much anywhere, it's so valuable because you're going to have injuries. You don't have the depth that you'd have in a regular league. So having a guy like that is super valuable.
And plug him in anywhere. Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and then the other two guys I think are going to see some play. We talked about Brooks Lee a little bit, battling with Edward Julian. I don't know if they want to keep him up or not. I think I'm kind of with Reed. I think they're going to send him down to AAA and just play. And then if an injury happens, he's going to be probably the first call. But I think they're also kind of trying to get him developed to be a little bit more being able to play, not just second base, but a little bit third base and shortstop. We got Brooks Lee. I think he's going to be pretty darn solid. I hope he does well at AAA. He's got a good hitter. So the thing is, he's good contact, gets on base, sees the ball well. I don't think he has a lot of power, and he hasn't shown that in the minors yet.
He's a good is the right word. Like he doesn't have any tools that are loud. He's just good.
He's just solid.
I think his dad's like a college coach or something like that. And so he's just a baseball guy. And good, decent fielder, decent hitter, decent power. Like he's a doubles guy,
Gotcha. So that'll be all right. And then the last guy, again, the big, massive free agent signing of the last 3 years, Harrison Bader.
They pushed all in.
Yeah.
It's
hey, man.
like, we're in.
Who do we need to get us over the top?
But again, we kind of highlighted that Buxton probably won't play more than 100, and we kind of highlighted that Trevor Larnach is a platoon guy, so I think Harrison Bader is going to play quite a bit.
I got Jack 8 suited. All in, baby.
Making a run. Here we go. And Harrison Bader.
If you remember 2023, if we didn't have Michael Taylor, we would have been in
Michael
rough
A.
shape.
Taylor?
Michael A.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
He was actually kind of a savior for us that year, and so you need a guy that's decent when you have a guy like Buxton.
Yeah.
You're counting on.
The last time we had a signing like that was Shannon Stewart when he came over from Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
You remember.
Harrison Bader's just licking his lips on the bench right now. Any day now.
Yep.
Any day now.
Well, he's going to play a lot because he's really good defensively anyway. But regardless, I think he plays just because we're going to have so many freaking injuries and platoon stuff going on.
And he's your big money guy. You got to put him in there.
That's it. We can't waste all that money, that investment. All right, so let's dive into the starting pitching staff. So this, I think, is actually a pretty good starting staff, all said from top to bottom.
Before you dive in, can I just say I'm looking at the roster and I just see RHP. There's no LHP. It seems like you would want at least one LHP. Is this a typo?
Hey, we have one in the bullpen.
We were trying to get Dylan Cease another right-handed pitcher.
So we're not going matchups at all. We're just
We're going to try and cut down those right-handed batters in the majors.
Yeah.
Fearsome righties.
And of all the managers that get a hard time for only doing analytics, like plain analytics, it's Baldelli.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't have the pitchers to do
Right.
it. So
he's going to
maybe
get a right arm injury from the
It is.
constantly racing.
He's never doing this one.
The other righty. No, the other.
The call to the 10 is going to be wrist, forearm, or elbow.
No, the other righty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So
The third guy warming up is elbow.
So to go through our starters, the number one pitcher on the team, I like a lot. And I think we ended up getting him from Miami a couple seasons ago, and he's done really
I
well.
like Pablo.
Yep, so Pablo Lopez starts us off. They're not old, but they're veterans. So a 29-year-old, I think he's a staff ace. He can definitely hold his own against anybody. Career high average fastball last year at 95, so he's not hitting the hundreds. He's not that kind of guy.
No.
But he's got a good K to whip, so he had 198 Ks to 41 walks in, I believe, just over 200. I don't know what that is. About 200 innings, just short of. I think he had like 190 something. But he had a 2.77 ERA in the last 13 starts, which is surprising because no one else was doing anything those starts, and that was just probably falling apart at the seams. The second pitcher, Bailey Ober, so again, another 29-year-old, does not have sexy stuff whatsoever, but he has elite control. So he's a solid 2-3, I think. 12-9 record, 3.98 ERA, one WHIP, and 179 innings pitched. So 2 straight seasons, he's pretty solid. Rito, do you got anything to offer for Bailey Ober? I mean, he's not super exciting, but he's always there.
Other than he's boring.
Yeah.
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 He's. I mean, he astonishes me because he looks like he should get rocked.
Yeah.
And he's so big and tall. It looks like he should throw a lot harder than he does.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he's decent.
It's like a permanent changeup coming at you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, hey, I do have a little stat. I mean, both Festa and Ober are in the top 6 with their changeups in the major leagues. You guys know who's number 1? Best changeup?
Who?
Kansas City.
Lugo?
It's got to be.
Cole Reagans.
Cole.
yeah,
that does
makes
make sense. That
Well,
does make
wow.
sense.
No,
Yeah,
I
most
get it.
effective changeup in the majors.
So
No, that's
that's
good-
like
good
so. This
tidbit.
guy's like how tall is Ober?
6'8", 6'7",
So he's like
tall. I don't
he's
know.
like
Yeah.
for those Royals fans out there. He's like Chris Young, really tall, doesn't throw really hard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yep.
That's probably a fair comp.
But not left-handed.
But not left-handed.
No, because he pitches for the Twins. Remember that?
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
part of the criteria.
They tie all their prospects left hand behind their back.
Exactly. Who would want a lefty?
We know you throw 97 with your left arm, but what can you do with your right arm?
I want to see a good changeup with your right arm.
We laugh because it's true. All right, so number 3 pitcher, again, I mean, could probably make up this name in AI, Joe Ryan. So right-handed pitcher, 28-year-old, having a career year last year until he was hurt August 9th with a shoulder strain, which then shut him down for the rest of the season. Because why not have our guy who was pitching the best last year go down in the time we need him the most? But he is healthy. He's in spring training, so he's down there at Fort Myers doing his thing. But 7-7 last year, 3.60 ERA, 0.99 WHIP, and a 147 to 23 K to walk ratio. Which, if you know me, I love my 4-1, and that is way more than 4-1. So we're kicking on 6. So that is
way more than he likes
7.
walks. I'll tell you that much.
Joe Ryan's fastball it's one of the best, but it doesn't look like it should be good either. So Ober looks like he should get rocked, and Joe Ryan looks like he should get rocked with his fastball, but he's just got a great spin rate on his fastball, so it's got that that rise, and so that's how he gets by.
It's nice. I hope he has another good year because he had something to work on last year, and I
will say that when they announced that last year, basically everybody I follow in baseball is like, well, that pretty much sinks the Twins, and it came to fruition exactly as they said. The second he got hurt,
yeah.
I wondered. So, Reed, do you think that their decline in September had at least something to do with him going down? Like that seems.
Well, I don't think it was just him, but we had everyone up from St. Paul pitching. Our whole pitching staff was from
We're going 14
AAA.
deep.
Yeah, so we got a lot of good experience last year for the young guys. Let's look at it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was having a great year. Really, if you look at the 3 guys that missed the most time, they were having great years. You look at Buxton was having a good year, Correa was having a good year, Ryan was having a good year, and they just missed a ton of time.
Yep, it's just hard to overcome that, especially in these tight games where you need a few wins. 4 games go the other direction, it's a different story, right? Number 4.
Yeah, you can make up too when if you have one guy go down, okay, you can kind of cover that. But the second you start getting multiple at the same time,
right,
it's like it's super demoralizing, number one. But yeah, you can't find the replacements fast enough that are going to put that kind of production together.
You know it's super demoralizing? When your owner doesn't do a damn thing over the trade deadline. And just sits on his hands when you've got a team that is primed to get to the postseason and maybe do something. That is, I think, the biggest reason why they sucked. Is because the owners just left them hanging. And guys on the team said something about it this year. Yeah. That it was a bummer. Everyone else got people coming into their clubhouse.
You're right. It's one thing if you're not in it, right? But if you're actually like the Twins where you're positioned and you're going to go to the postseason,
lose.
And you don't make any moves, that's even worse. That feels worse.
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
And so
just so it's clear, can't stand the pull ads.
It makes it abundantly clear. All right, so number 4 in our rotation slotted this year is Chris Paddock. So 29-year-old. Former top pitching prospect for San Diego, if you're a prospect town from back in the day. He returned to the rotation in 2024 after he missed the entire year in 2023 for Tommy John. But then again, he had a forearm strain that ended the season in July. So, hey, man, it's a trend. So that's why when Rito was talking like all of St. Paul was pitching, all of the St. Paul Saints, we took their rotation. So I don't even know who was pitching in St. Paul that last month, but it is what it is.
I think Paddock could find himself in the bullpen because I think the guy I would say is 4th is Simeon Woods Richardson.
Yeah,
right.
He had a very good year last year, and I think Paddock might find himself in the bullpen because he's throwing hard this spring. He still has stuff. It's just that he's brittle, and those guys those guys last a lot longer if they're only pitching an inning or two.
Yep.
Yeah, it could be
That's
more
right.
effective too, which we've talked about on multiple episodes with some of these guys going to the bullpen.
And you,
So
could
Chris
use
Paddock,
you guys
we'll
could
see.
use a righty in the bullpen too.
Yeah.
We need more of those.
Yeah, boost our numbers against right-handed hitters.
I know. I can tell you the
Yeah.
Twins were not in the market for Blake Snell. It's like, what do you throw? I'm sorry. We don't need your kind around here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chris
man.
Sale.
Free the left
Why
arm.
would we want Chris Sale?
He throws from the wrong side, guys.
We don't even have a left-handed shirt. Oh, man. All right, so Simeon Woodrice, we talked about him. He's filling the 5-hole, and he was actually doing really well. Again, he collapsed down the stretch.
I like this kid though. As an outsider, I like this kid. I like watching him pitch.
Yep. Nope, he's pretty good. Again, he doesn't throw a lot. He's not going to strike out a million people. He pitches to contact most of the time, but he does pretty well. His stuff plays. So, and if the defense plays behind him, we'll be all right, which is why we can't have Miranda back there booting the ball around. We got to have him at DH or first base where he can hopefully catch. The next three guys I want to talk about. So these are three that have a very high percentage chance of pitching this year because last year we had about 14 people pitch. But these are the next best up. So David Festa, 24-year-old with a so 24. But so the song's not going to work with his nickname.
Oh wait, Festa. Never mind.
The Slim Reaper is his nickname. 6'6". He looks just like Chris Sale, except he throws from the right side, obviously. We wouldn't want a lefty in there.
Right.
But he's got an average mid-90s fastball, wipeout slider. And speaking of changeups, Rito, 6th best changeup on all the stat metrics. But he gave up too many hits and dingers, so I guess the changeup, when it wasn't working, he's like, I'm going to beat him with the fastball this time. He'll never think of that, and I think I'll throw the changeup. And then it ends up in the seats. So I think if he just throws that changeup more often, he could be a really nice piece. The other guy who flew up the charts last year, so Zebby Matthews, and Rita, you might be able to add a little more to this guy, but he started in A-ball and just had ridiculous K to walk ratios, and a 184 ERA through the minors, 105 Ks. I think
Per
it was
night?
like 80 innings or something, or 10.5 Ks per night. So 10.5 Ks per 9 innings. He got called up in August after 3 good starts, and then he just got freaking shelled the rest of the way. But he is going to be pretty solid, I think, and he's got upside. Rito, you got anything to add for old Zebby?
No, I just think that, like, he did just travel through the minors so quickly, and then you throw him into in the majors. That's a lot. That's a lot for a kid that was pitching in A-ball just a bit ago. And there were times when he actually looked pretty good, even when he was getting, like, before he'd get shelled. Like, his warm-up pitches were really nice.
Yeah.
But
they were safe.
But no, I like the kid. I think he'll be fine. I'm more excited about Festa for this year, though. I think Festa will be in the starting 5 more often than not in the rotation. I see him being there more than Paddock.
No, that sounds good. I think it's probably, again, I think your take on Chris Paddock probably going bullpen may be accurate. We'll see how it goes in the spring training and more what Rocco wants to do, right? I mean, he's going to get the final say at the end of the day. But there are some people on the doorstep. And the last one I wanted to mention is someone to at least keep your eyeballs on for fantasy is Andrew Morris. So, yet again, right-handed pitcher coming up for the Twins. But 23 years old, AAA. He was the minor league pitcher of the year last year. So 133 innings pitched, 2.37 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, and 18.6% K to walk rate. So he could be in the rotation by merit or injury. Just it kind of depends on what they want to do. I mean, he's 23, so there's no rush really. But why not have a very talented dude come up if he can pitch?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him pitch? I mean, the guy, it's like he just steps forward and the ball just comes out of his hand going 96 miles an hour.
He's one of those
Like,
super easy
Yeah,
guys.
he doesn't even really wind up. He just like lifts his leg and it goes down and then there's 96. It's it looks very repeatable. It looks like a guy that could be good. And
that's what you want out of a starter.
Very consistent. Yeah, very consistent.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing him pitch. So I haven't seen him pitch, but all I know is I can see numbers, and those look really good.
Yeah,
so,
And minor league pitcher of the year, so that's
got
no
that
joke.
going. So that goes to our bullpen. I think our bullpen's got some really good pieces. And one of our other free agent acquisitions this year, we had to pick up a lefty. So we have
Nick
one.
Blackburn. What about Nick Blackburn? Did you not? Oh, is he not? Nick Blackburn is not on the staff?
All right, so Danny Colomb, 35-year-old, missed most of 2024 after surgery to miss bone chips from his elbow, which I never like bone chips in elbows. That always sounds bad to me.
It sounds bad.
Yep, so you know what? Let's get our left-hander, because I want to make sure he doesn't pitch all year, because God forbid we have a lefty that lasts the whole season. But when healthy, 81 innings pitched, 2.56 ERA, 0.95 WHIP, 90 to 17 K to walks. Not bad. So if we get that version, it's not all chippy in the elbow, we could be okay.
I mean, as the only lefty, you'd think he'd get a lot of play. So he's
like,
probably...
me again? Coach, I pitched every day this year. Like, I know. There's always a lefty coming up for some reason.
You guys might have your everyday Eddie Guardado sequel here with
oh man,
there you go.
You might be right. We might have everyday Danny.
100 games.
Do it all, Danny.
He'll play in more games than Byron Buxton. He'll play in more games than Byron Buxton.
That's a great over-under right there. More games than Brian Buxton for Danny Colomba. Daily Dan.
Yeah, you got to find the odds for that. There's got to be odds.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to make that bet. And damn, I don't even know which one I'd want to do right now. Do I want the bone chip lefty who's going to be out there every day? Or do I want the bionic knee?
Probably even money.
It is even money.
Minus 110, actually.
All right, so our two setup guys, Griffin Jacks and Cole Sands, both very good. Very
I really
good.
like Griffin Jacks. That dude's legit.
Yeah, I mean, he's the thing. When Joe Duran didn't, when he wasn't doing much and hurt, he's the one that came in. I think he had 10 saves last year, if I wrote that down right.
Yeah,
10 saves, yep. So he's the one that kind of fills in when needed. But then our fireballer that comes out of the back and has a cool-ass intro. If you haven't seen it, Google it. It's pretty sweet. But it's awesome. So Joan Duran, 27-year-old, averages 101.9 mile an hour fastball.
Ooh.
So it is just grease lightning coming up there, and you just kind of like
awesome.
Blink or you missed it, man. It's one of those things. But he did not have the best year last year. He said he was kind of pitching through some stuff, and then it was throwing off his mechanics, and his leg drive didn't feel right. I don't know. We'll see. He's probably in the best shape of his life right now, though. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. And so he says he feels good. If he's on top of it, I mean, this is 40 saves right there. He's a lockdown closer. But I hope he's healthy. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right, so I'm going to go over two.
You didn't talk about the guy they lost, though,
I know. That's my next thing. The two people we lost this offseason, critical losses. So we lost Max Kepler, which you've talked about, which I don't know if it's much of a loss. And then the other one was he walked right out of here, Carlos Santana.
Oh,
Carlos Santana.
Now where is this gift, Lou? I thought for sure he'd have this prepped. So every time Carlos Santana walked for the Royals, we get sent a gift JPEG thing, and it's just
Carlos
Santana playing the guitar, man. Playing his riffs. So it's going to be a big loss. I mean, but I hope Ty France can fill the bill of a 39-year-old Carlos Santana. And that shrewdness, folks, is what gets played on our phone each and every time a Royals player gets a walk during the regular season.
Carlos Santana.
Yes, how many times has this picture been on our text chain? I don't know. I think we're in the hundreds of thousands.
We're definitely the thousands.
Unless it's Michael Garcia, in which case we never have to worry about it. But that being said,
it's a popular one.
So I want to do our three
Down with the DVX.
Yeah.
So our top three prospects for Minnesota, and very excited, kind of about all three of these, and I think they could all, if need be, second half of the season could probably be up, but I hope we don't have to use them this year. So Walker Jenkins, outfielder, he's in Double-A right now. Minnesota's number one prospect, number 3 overall for MLB. He's a 5th overall pick in 2023. 20-year-old, left-handed hitting. We at least get left-handed hitters. Thank God. He's got 60 hit and power tools. So he's going to start Double-A, but he is arguably, I mean, a lot of people picked him as the rookie of the year, thinking he's going to get up and kind of tear it up. And I don't know, with all those log jams up in outfield up here, like Trevor Larnach, and I know you like Matt Wallner, but he needs to prove it. And then, I don't know. I mean, Byron Buxton play the whole season, bud. But if not, I think Walker Jenkins could come up. And I'm very excited. I've seen this dude play, and he's awesome. He's awesome. Emmanuel Rodriguez, he's one of the pitchers that's coming up, so number 2 prospect, 21-year-old. or I think he's outfielder actually. So Manny Rodriguez outfield, left-handed. He actually has a very good eye for at the plate, Lou. So you'll love this. 422 on base percentage, 567 slug last year. The main thing about this guy is he's always freaking hurt. So he's a perfect fit for the Twins lineup. Like, you never have to worry about him taking up too much space for too long. It's like, oh, my God, this guy's got my job. Like, bro, it's April. You'll have it by June. Don't worry. Just keep playing. And so the problem with him is he's always freaking hurt. Luke Keschel is the second baseman outfielder. So at least he's got some versatility. He's a Twins second-round pick from 2023 from ASU. Shut down last season with Tommy John, which is not a real big deal for position players. So he's going to be playing. He's in camp.
Yeah.
But 102 game last year, 303 average, 420 on base, 483 slug, and 15 dingers and 23 stolen bases. So this guy's awesome. Futures game played. He played the Futures game last year, and he's in spring training right now down at Fort Myers. So I think he's getting some reps. And like I said, if he plays well, I mean, Brooks Lee is kind of the dude ahead of him, and then some of these other outfield guys. So that's kind of what we got going for the prospects. I don't know, Rito, if you're tracking anyone else. I just kind of hit the main ones that are in camp.
What about Nick Gordon? Where's he falling in the prospect?
Yeah, he's hanging out with his dad, Tom. He's probably down in Chattanooga. Who knows? That's the last time I saw him, though. So I got Nick Gordon's autograph down in Chattanooga Lookouts game. Yep. And with that, so he was there. And my favorite player in Twins history, and just one of my favorite players, period, Torrey Hunter. So he was down there. It's kind of like he was there for a couple of weeks. Just kind of like hey, I'm down here in the minors helping out the guys. Yeah, it was awesome. I got Torrey Hunter's autograph and Nick Gordon's autograph that day.
I've smoked a cigar with Torrey Hunter.
Dude, Torrey Hunter smoked a cigar with everybody. He's fantastic.
He's one of my neighbors.
Is he?
He's a stud.
Dude, I love Torrey Hunter. What?
Yeah.
Dude, I wear 48 because of him. That's what's up. It's my little softball number and everything else.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love Torrey.
He's a stud.
Yep. So I think that kind of takes us through the all around the world with the Twins.
Okay,
to go back to the last deal.
Thing.
Yep, here it is. The over-under.
I want to get Reed's take on this, too.
Yep. I'm going to let him tee it off. I'm going to let him start.
Okay.
So the over-under this year, Rito, and what I want you to tell our Shrewdness fans, 83.5. Are you on the over or under for the Minnesota Twins 2025 season win total?
Under.
Ooh, he's coming out ice.
That was with no hesitation. He went under.
You're thinking maybe a 500 season at best? That's kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, so this is how old I am. When I first started really watching baseball, remembering baseball, 1984.
Awesome.
And if you remember, back in 1984, Kansas City won the division with like 83 wins.
Yep.
The Twins had 81, and the Angels had 81.
Oh my
God!
God!
That's the division that's our division this year.
That's some parity.
Everyone's going to be
totally.
I got my buddy
We got
here.
Special guest.
That's awesome.
Everyone's going to be like 500, and I don't see the Twins being much more than 500.
Okay.
Ouch. Well,
It is going to be a competitive division other than the White Sox.
Now before Dex makes his pick, the question is, we should all make our pick on what Dex's pick is going to be.
He's already placed it. I already know what it is. If you aren't paying attention, he's already put it down.
So I am of the belief they will rebound to the number they should have had last year, the 86.5. I'm on board with the 86 wins this year. I think they can get to it. They have enough depth to come up and fill the gaps this year. And I think they have enough depth on pitching to come up and fill any gaps that might hit there. And frankly, if the big three dudes are healthy, this team's going to score a truckload of runs. And
Truckload of runs.
If you have Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, Royce Lewis play 140 games each, they'll be awesome.
This down.
Now, that is not going to happen. I already know. I don't know which one it's going to be. I don't know who. But these guys aren't that freaking old. 30, 31, and 25, you should not be in wheelchairs yet. You should be able to play a full season. It's not that hard. Criminelli, like freaking Cal Ripken was doing it when he was 40. He could do out every single game. So I don't know. If they can just take the right ibuprofen, have a physical training staff that doesn't suck, I don't know. Make something happen. But they have the talent to win the division. They have the talent to score.
If you're picking your number, you're on the over.
I'm on the over. 86 wins.
What? 80. Okay, 86. That's your number.
Yep.
You're picking
Yeah,
86.
because like Pagoda and Fangraphs, they both have them winning the division.
Yeah.
Both of them have them winning the division.
Correct.
But still in like the mid 80s for wins.
That's right.
I think all those things are true that you said. Yeah. If.
Yeah.
But they have depth finally.
They're just, those guys haven't shown any of that, any ability to play a full season. So it's a pipe dream. Like it is until they show you. Like you can't.
I'm a glass half full, Rito. I'm a glass half full guy. That's what it is.
Lou is usually our guy that's got the prediction if everything goes right.
Right.
If everything goes right, could this team win 90 games?
Yeah, absolutely. They have the most talent in the AL Central. They have the most talent, but they just have a clear track record of not being able to keep it on the field. So I just think you have to go with that clear track record that says even though they have the most talent, they're not going to be able to reach their potential because of the injuries.
Objectively, we did the Guardians a few days ago. They're significantly worse than they were last
100%.
year.
Yeah.
Now the Royals are about the same, right? So the Royals are about the same.
And the White Sox are dog
White Sox
balls.
blow. They're horrible. So you got a puncher's chance, I feel like, But
I just think they can beat up on those teams, and then it's not as it's more balanced schedule, so you don't get to beat up on them as much. I mean, it used to be like back in the day. I would probably put 90 if you get to beat up on the White Sox in Cleveland repeatedly. But even so, again, it's just the talent level. I think this team's got enough of it. And when you look at the rest of the division, it's just the Royals in them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the two teams.
Tigers.
The Tigers, too. We talked about that as well.
You just don't want to face
if you want to talk about a bunch of things going right, the Tigers need a bunch of things to go right.
Yeah,
they had to go right last year, and that's what got them to the 86 wins.
They're
I don't
the
see it
opposite
happening
of
twice, man.
Minnesota in September.
They are the opposite of Minnesota. And we talked about them in another episode. And, is Scooble going to have that year again?
He doesn't even need to be that good, but that's what it took for them to get in.
Will.
Yeah, Jackson Joe. He's doing it.
Jackson Joe is a stud.
He is a stud.
All right, well, I think that wraps up our Twins edition for the Major League Baseball Primer. I want to thank our special guest, Rito, for joining us again.
Well done, Reed.
Thank you very much for the insight.
Thank you for having me.
For sure. So,
anytime.
For the rest of us, keep subscribing, keep following. We're going to turn out a team pretty much every single day of this month. So every single day, if you get the subscription, like it, put a comment in there. Let us know what you want to hear more of, or like, why did you ramble so much about that? And who the hell's Nick Gordon? Like, these are all valid questions. Throw them all in there, man. We're happy to interact with you guys on this, and we're having a great time doing it. So if you got any comments on what you want to hear next time, here's your chance. So pop on
Absolutely.
there. All right, anything else from the group, from the Shrewdness?
No, appreciate it. Thank you very much, Reed. And join Patreon, and stay shrewd.
Stay shrewd.